channel. If you are new here, my name is Kanessa Carey. I make videos about mental health, eating disorders, recovery, anxiety, OCD, depression, all that kind of stuff. Basically, my goal here with this channel is just to help others not feel alone, because I remember when I was going through the depths and hardest parts of my mental health journey, I felt so alone, and I just want other people to know that they're not alone and it can get better. Recently, I made a TikTok a few weeks ago. I actually haven't posted a YouTube video since then, so that's why I'm bringing it up. But if you have found me through there, hello. I love you guys so much, and I love making content on TikTok, especially about mental health. It not only helps me, but being able to help other people is amazing. I've gotten actually a lot of video ideas from TikTok, from a lot of questions that people ask me and stuff like that. So that's where the next few videos are going to be coming from, actually, is things that I've been asked on TikTok. I love posting there, so if you have not found me on TikTok, go ahead and check that out. My TikTok username is @livingwithalabel. Go ahead and find me on there if you're interested, or if you want to. It's grand time there. So I love connecting with you guys, chatting with you guys, and I love all the Instagram messages I've been getting. I just love connecting with you guys. So that's the end of my spiel for now. Today, we're going to be talking about eating disorder recovery and how to fully commit to recovering from your eating disorder. I'm just going to be talking from my perspective. I'm going to be giving 5 tips or 5 things that you can do as you are moving into your eating disorder recovery and beginning that process. So these are things that I did that helped me and worked for me. I am in no way, shape, or form a dietitian or an eating disorder specialist or a doctor or anything like that, or a therapist. This is just what has worked for me and kind of how I approached recovery. My first tip, and something that I think is really important, although I know that it is possible for people to recover on their own without the support, but for me, it was really important for me to find a treatment team and to have a treatment team that could not only support me but could also keep me accountable. Treatment teams look different for everyone. Some people go to inpatient, some people go to outpatient. It just kind of depends. Some people recover on their own. Some people have a therapist. Some people have a dietitian or an eating disorder specialist of some sort. For me personally, I worked with a dietitian and a therapist. I've talked about this in another video as well, but they were kind of like my treatment team and the people that kept me accountable. Those are the people who just really helped me through the process, especially my dietitian, because she specialized in eating disorder treatment. So reaching out to her and working with her was what ultimately changed and put me on the path to recovery. A treatment team looks different for everyone, so you really have to just figure out what is best for you, and it also just depends on the level of care that you need for your specific situation, so that is different for everyone. That being said, I have gotten questions recently on TikTok about if it's possible to recover on your own, and I will say that I have heard of people doing so where they're really able to challenge themselves and really educate themselves on how they need to recover and what they need to do. For me personally, that wasn't something that was going to work because I was very deep in my eating disorder, and the times that I did try to recover without a dietitian, it just wasn't working for me. So sometimes you just need that extra push and someone who's going to guide you and really help you through the experience. I know for me, it was also really nice because she was able to give me like tangible information that I could use to debunk my eating disorder thoughts and my eating disorder behaviors and stuff like that. So it was just a very helpful scenario for me. And I know for a lot of people, getting treatment in other forms such as intensive outpatient programs or inpatient programs or getting help through a hospital or something like that, sometimes people just need a different level of care, and that is totally okay. It doesn't make your eating disorder more valid or less valid, so it really just depends on you and what you need for your recovery. The second thing and the second tip that I think is really important is getting rid of all the things in your life that are holding you back from fully being able to commit to recovery. Everyone's eating disorder comes out in a different form, but a lot of times that involves stopping calorie counting, getting rid of those apps that you have on your phone that help you calorie count, not weighing yourself anymore, so throwing away the scale, throwing away a food scale, not measuring things, eliminating exercise if that's something that is really addictive or compulsive or is really holding you back from fully recovering. I would go even as far to say that sometimes you need to get rid of social media or really limit your social media or really filter through your social media so that you can not only be in the right headspace but also not not just be feeding yourself visually and mentally with things that you don't need to be seeing while you are recovering. It really just depends on like what you are struggling with and how you are struggling and what you need to get rid of in order to fully commit to eating disorder recovery. And not only that, but how do you need to take away the power from your eating disorder? For me, calorie counting, having an app on my phone for that, over exercising, using a food scale, all that type of stuff was stuff that I really struggled with and was stuff that was keeping me in my eating disorder. So for me, I had to completely get rid of those things. I deleted the calorie counting app. I had to learn how to stop counting calories and learn to stop looking at calories on food labels. In my recovery, it was also really important for me to stop exercising, because not only had I lost my period because of my eating disorder and over exercising, but I also just did not have a healthy relationship with exercise. So for me personally, stopping exercise during the bulk of my recovery was very important for me to kind of separate my eating disorder from exercise. So probably just in hearing that, you can probably think of things that you need to get rid of or limit while you are in your recovery. So that's really an individual basis that you really need to assess, like, hey, what is really holding me back from pursuing recovery and fully recovering and fully committing to recovery? So the third thing that I would totally recommend doing to really commit to recovery is to begin to challenge eating disorder rules, beliefs, and behaviors. One thing that can be really helpful in this process is recognizing what your values are and what your eating disorder values are. And so maybe even making a list and saying, hey, these are my values in my life and how I want to live my life and really be free from this eating disorder. And then you can write down your eating disorder beliefs, your eating disorder behaviors, your eating disorder values, and compare them and be like, hey, these are way different and I want to value my beliefs and my values more than I value these eating disorder ones. So a lot of times when you are challenging eating disorder rules, beliefs, and behaviors, this looks like fear food challenges, which I highly recommend, because the more exposed you are to the fear foods that you have, the easier it will be to eat them over time. And not only that, but your brain will become more exposed to those foods, and the fear and the control that your eating disorder has over those foods and the beliefs that you have about those foods will begin to dissipate and become less and less. Challenging eating disorder rules, beliefs, and behaviors can also look like recognizing things that your eating disorder might tell you that simply aren't true, such as you can't eat after 8 p.m. or don't eat that, it has too much fat, or you can't eat that, that's too many calories, all those types of stuff. So really challenging those beliefs and doing the opposite of what your eating disorder says is extremely important, because not only are you saying to your eating disorder, that is ridiculous, I don't want to listen to you, but you're also relinquishing the control that your eating disorder has. I will be brutally honest with you that it will probably make your eating disorder louder and it will probably feel like you're getting worse before you get better, but it's because your eating disorder wants to be in control. But listen to me, the harder you push, the easier it will get as time goes on. The fourth thing that will really help you fully commit to eating disorder recovery is being completely honest. And that means being completely honest with where you're at, being completely honest with what you are struggling with, being completely honest with things that you need help with, being completely honest about behaviors that you have or compulsions that you are having, the beliefs that you have about food or your body. By being honest, you are lessening the control that your eating disorder has over you. It is a huge, huge step to take in eating disorder recovery, because being honest like that and really expressing your fears and explaining what you're going through and what you're feeling and what you're thinking and what you're dealing with and how you're suffering is so scary and so vulnerable. It can feel really lonely to struggle with those things. So being completely honest with your treatment team or a family member or someone that you know that can help you and guide you in the right direction is so important. If you struggle with an eating disorder, you know how secretive they can be, and you know that they can make you do things that are not a part of your character and are not a part of your values. So really coming to terms with how that is affecting you and how that can affect other people can really help you make that decision and make that step to be completely honest. It might not feel good in the moment when you're expressing those things or explaining those things, but there will be a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. My fifth and final tip is to practice acceptance. And I have it as the fifth tip because it's probably difficult. Practicing acceptance and really just acknowledging that there's going to be change and that that's okay is huge. Obviously, when you fully commit to eating disorder recovery, there's going to be a lot of changes and those changes are going to be scary, and there's going to be a lot of changes that your eating disorder brain and your eating disorder are not very comfortable with, and they're going to be uncomfortable for a while until you're more nourished and you can think more clearly and more logically, really accepting the anxiety that comes with challenging those fear foods and challenging your eating disorder beliefs and behaviors and the rules that your eating disorder has established for you, really accepting the changes that you're going to go through physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually, and really recognizing that there's a lot of change that's going to take place, and it's not going to be easy and it's not always going to be fun or feel worth it, but it is going to eventually be one of the best things that you have ever committed to. I know that recovery is hard, and choosing recovery is hard, and fully committing to recovery is hard, but so is staying exactly where your eating disorder wants you to be, because that's not where you deserve to be. I just challenge you to really think about these things and these tips that I've given you on how to fully commit to eating disorder recovery. I know it's not easy, but coming from someone who has gone through a lot of recovery and has experienced a lot of these things, I just want you to know that it is definitely worth it. I just want to thank you guys so much for clicking on this video, for watching this video if you made it this far. I'm excited to keep connecting with you guys on TikTok and Instagram and here on YouTube as well. I think it's awesome that we can have this community where we can just like hype each other up and learn things from each other and really just pursue recovery together. So if you'd like to, go ahead and click the subscribe button and also the like button. That really helps me with the algorithm so that we can help others know that they are not alone as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.